I'm Artemis, and today we have none other than content creator and current council member Vetemor, here to talk all things Overworld and specifically Illuvium shards.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's my first time, right?
It
It's
is.
crazy.
But anyways, are you excited for the Overworld?
Big time. I'm just really excited to see what it's like to just catch Illuvials and then just start building our own decks, and trying out just different play styles. Whereas, obviously right now in private beta, you can only play what the day gives you, and you can only, train with it so much.
Would you say, like out of the three games that we kind of have coming up, so we've got Illuvium Zero, we've got the Arena, and we've got the Overworld. Are you most excited for the Overworld or one of the others?
So Overworld is my number two that I'm most excited about, and number one is definitely PvP. I know that there are a lot of people out there that are most excited about Illuvium Zero, and I just they're not gamers. They're not excited about the game, as far as I'm concerned. They're investors that have a financial investment in Illuvium and especially in land, and they just wanna play their investment and see what it's actually like, to play on and get in some of that practice for when like everything resets and the fuel earning starts for real. Whereas anyone that's excited for the overworld, they're excited for that because they don't have that much excitement. I think for the auto battler, like a lot of people have PB2 access and they're like, this is too overwhelming, this is too much. But what they're gonna find in Overworld is it's still just auto battler. But I'm convinced that the Overworld's gonna be a way more beginner friendly version of the auto battler. So I think that's great. And PvP, I think that's where the real competitiveness is at. Although there's definitely going to be a competitive scene just in Overworld for like how efficient can you get it, how yeah, like speed runs and that.
So let's jump into that whole idea of being beginner friendly, because that's something that the more I think about it, the more I wonder if Illuvium's Overworld is beginner friendly, or if it might be getting too complicated. So, what's your experience with Pokemon? Just as a quick catch up.
Yeah, so I've played like ages ago on the DS. I played like two Pokemon games. I think it might have been like Diamond or Silver or like something there. Like Diamond and Pearl, I think I played. Yeah. So yeah.
So when Pokemon first came out, it was pretty simple in terms of like you had 5 levels of Pokemon. You had 4 levels of Pokemon, and you had 5 different Pokeballs. So you had common, uncommon, rare, and legendary. And then you had your Pokeball, Ultra, Great Ball, and Master Ball. And then Safari Ball, but that was just for the one location. Originally, when Illuvium started out, from what we heard, there was going to be 5 levels of shards, 1 through 5, to match the rarity level, just like Pokemon did. But a while back, it was kind of revealed to us that there was also going to be affinities in shards. So you would have a water shard or a tsunami shard, and that was going to play into the catch rate. So, I mean, that right there just changes it from having 5 different shards to over 100 different combinations when you're combining both rarity level of 1 through 5 with affinities. So, I mean, do you think that complicates it too much for someone who's new and coming in to play the game?
I really don't think it does. Also, especially with the new like hyper system, I actually think it's gonna be very intuitive because to my knowledge, like every alluvial, they'll have like dominant, affinities in some way. So then all it is the shards also have a dominant, essentially something that they're better at catching. I also think that just from a investor financial standpoint, I think it makes a ton of sense for them to do that because collectors like have way more things to collect. Not that you're collecting shards, but honestly, suddenly what it means is that you get more efficiency in the game if you invest more into buying all the different kinds of shards, so that when you encounter alluvials, you can catch them with the perfect shard for that alluvial that gives you the best optimization, everything, and that like makes your entire game more efficient, which means you're earning more alluvials, which then also have a financial value. So for anyone that's like super business minded, they'll just see this and they'll be like, I'm going all in, let's go. And I think that's what they want, and I think that's actually a good thing, at least for myself, who is an investor in ILV, and you know, that sweet revdis we've all been dreaming about. But from a purely gamer standpoint, like we've just started playing Pokemon Unite recently with Zeptile, and what we found is like this game is insanely fun and insanely addictive. But like we're like constantly online, like checking like the best efficiencies for like this and that, and like I just don't think this is complicated at all for people to figure out. And yeah, I just think gamers enjoy. Also, the kind of person that wants to rinse Overworld, they're gonna enjoy the actual analytics and theory crafting behind that as well.
Yeah, I think one thing that we always talk about catching our first like deck of alluvials for us to go play, and I don't think enough people think about the time commitment to get the shards themselves. I actually had completely forgotten about it till like last week when I was reflecting on all of this. And I was just like, you know, before I go do my first real run in one of the tiers 1 through 5 to get, you know, a non-tier 0 alluvial, am I gonna go in with just like, what if I have like fire and water shards, but I don't have earth, and I come across a Titanor? And it's like, here's, am I trying to catch a Titanor with like a tier 3 fire shard? Like, it makes me question how, because I'm the type person who's going to do it all myself. At least at the start, I might break down and buy them later. But now it just hits home a bit more when Kieran and Grant say that it's going to take hours to get one of every type. I mean, what about you? Are you the type person who's gonna go out and mine and cure your own shards, or are you gonna be buying them off the Illuvidex?
I remember talking about all of this stuff like a year ago, like just considering how we're gonna approach this, and I was always the guy that was like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy anything. I'm just gonna spend a bunch of time. I'm gonna spend 8 to 12 hours a day just grinding it and see how far we can get with this. And then the other day, I was actually chatting with someone about this, and they proposed something completely ulterior, and I was like, that's way better. So actually, and so what they said was, they were like, well, you know, you start the game, no one has anything. So then you get in, you're starting on the tier 0 world, you get a tier 0 alluvial, and then next you have to level them up, get more tier 0. No, you get 1 tier 0, maybe 2, whatever you catch in your very first run, you immediately go on the shop and see how much people have started selling tier 0s for. Maybe you do 2 runs just to give people some time, and then you buy some more tier 0s, so that instead of, so you spend like 2 hours of time, and then you buy another 10 hours of time by buying a bunch of tier 0s, immediately then go out and be the first one catching tier 1s. Be out there as quick as you can catching tier, because you can't catch a tier 1 without having tier 0s, because you can't fight the tier 1s. But then you get a bunch of tier 0s and you're already there. That's why there's immediately going to be resale value for tier 0s, especially in the first 10 hours, just because anyone looking to absolutely like just max grind it, that's the way. That's definitely the way. So then suddenly it becomes like, why am I going to waste 16 hours of my time collecting all the various shards? Because like there'll be a lot of different types of shards, not just the 5 potentially, but like, you know, 5 tiers plus like 5 you know, affinities, that's 25. If there's the composite affinities as well, that might be a bit, I don't think it's too complicated, but it definitely adds a larger number to acquire, which there might just not be a need for. Maybe you just capture them based on their dominant, and you just use the dominant, like that kind of thing. We'll see exactly how that plays out, but regardless, you want to get as much as you can as quick as you can to leverage that to then be capturing, because the other thing is the way that it works with Illuvials is there is a curve, so a decay curve. So every Illuvial you capture, you're taking an Illuvial out of the capturing pool. So a month into the game, it will be harder to capture Illuvials than it is on day one. So you actually want to get yourself as far ahead as possible, depending on obviously like your goals for the game and for everything. Like none of this is financial advice. It's purely gamer advice. If you're a hardcore gamer that really wants to go deep and far and fast into Illuvium and catch it all ASAP Rocky, like that's probably the way. Yeah.
I mean, obviously not financial advice. We have there's definitely going to be that group of people who goes and just mines, right? And they're going to be your shard providers. Any like, because I'm kind of curious, like we've had the guesses of round trips costing anywhere from like $3 to $20. There's no hardcore information yet. But what do you think the initial shard price is going to be in that first like 24 hours? Like if somebody finds like a tier 5 fire shard, like is it unrealistic for them to throw it on the marketplace for like 5 ETH?
Yeah, it is. That's highly unrealistic. They can throw it on the market for that price. No, I'm not gonna buy it. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
It all depends on the value of the Illuvials. The time in Illuvium where there's going to be the largest number of market inconsistencies is going to be in the first 24 hours. And then in the first week, there's going to be still loads of fun. And when I say inconsistencies, I mean the fact that the economy won't be balanced because people are still figuring out. So there'll be a lot of arbitrage opportunities in the very beginning where it's like, people are just doing things so quick that they can't factor everything in. So a lot of stuff won't be priced in or will be overpriced just because people are just, I just want to catch as much as I can. But then like 2 days later, you look back and you're like, damn it, I could have just slowed the hell down. And that would have been way better, like financially speaking. But however, I'm now one of the furthest players in the game. But like, it wasn't like financially, I'm down. But like, I don't care because I have way more practice way further into the game, which is giving me an edge. And all this like winning and losing in the beginning has given me this advantage to, you know, whatever. Yeah. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, no, I think you've changed my mind. Now I have to consider what you suggested and gain the tier zeros. Man, this is going to take a lot of thought. Well, that's actually it for today. Thank you for joining us. You know, hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to subscribe to Vetemor's channel. The link will be down in the description. To everyone out there, hope you're having a great day. We'll see you on the flip side.
Like and subscribe to Artemis right now, guys.